Okay, so we are going to start today. Let's start standing and get moving, and then we'll come back to a little bit more focused breath. So it's cold today. Bring yourselves back. Just start by planting your feet directly underneath your hip bones. And then very easy, rolling the shoulders back and around. Really bring them up to your ears and circle them. Make really full use of the range in your shoulders. And then we'll go one at a time. We'll go up and back and start to allow your rib cage to really move around with the shoulder. And notice any tension in the neck. Just see if you let the neck be nice and easy. Attention into the breath as well. So breathing gently through your nose. And then you're going to roll the shoulder forwards. And letting the arm just kind of flop forwards as you move more from the shoulder and from the rib cage. Good. Nice. And then just take both hands and you're going to bend the knees and circle the arms up as you reach your arms. I'll step back a little bit. Reach your arms up over your head and then bring them slowly down through your center. So you're breathing in. Let's make it like a circular movement and breathing out, slowly pressing your hands down. Breathing in, circle, forwards and upwards, breathing out, sinking down. So as you do this repetitive movement, it gives you a little bit of a chance to focus on your feet, connecting into the ground. So we talk a lot about the roots. So see if you can get that visual of roots growing from the soles of your feet down into the ground underneath you as you just move through this circle. Very natural, going out as you inhale and exhale, coming back in. 2 more of these, breathing in and out. That could be out through your mouth or out through your nose, doesn't matter. As long as you're breathing in through your nose, that's going to help you connect into that calm part of the nervous system. Okay, last one. Bend the knees and then just bring your hands either side. I'm going to come closer, but you can stay exactly where you are just so you can see me up close. So if, say, standing, bring the hands right into the base of the ribs. You might want to be thumb and fingers, or you might want to be sort of more fingers around the back, whatever's easiest. And you're going to focus in on your breath, expanding your hands. And as you exhale, allowing the ribs just soften down. Breathing in. And out. So for those of you who haven't been in the sessions where I've talked a lot about the breathing through your nose. So breathing through your nose produces a gas called nitric oxide, which only happens through the nasal. So as the air rushes over the hairs in your nose. And this is a natural dilator. So it's like taking in a natural inhaler. So it's a really good thing to encourage yourself to do. It also filters the air, warms the air. Good. Continue that breath, but take your hands forwards in front of you and just imagine with your hands that movement. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in through the nose and out. Good. And just do this a couple more times. And I'm going to move back again so you can see me. And we're going to take it into a movement. So you're going to take this kind of ball you've created and you're going to stretch it over to one side. And can you push through your back legs? You're in a sort of lunge. The arms are pressing forwards and your back legs pushing away and you're digging into your back toes. And you should feel a bit of a stretch going up that long side. And then come back through the center and then twist to the other side and press through your hands and press through your heel. So that long side is getting that beautiful long stretch, reaching with the arms. Come back through the center. So each time you come back to the center, really solid through the legs, and then rotate through the back foot, reaching away. And coming back through the center. Good. And reaching away. And center. Good. So absolutely, as you reach away, it's like that circular movement we just did. There's a sense of coming back into your center, into your body, and then pressing out. And coming back into the center. And we'll do 2 more, pressing away. Nice easy breath through the nose. Center. And twist and press it away. Good. Now come back into the center. So you're in your deep squat with the legs widening, where you feel those thigh bones wrapping nice and open. Take that ball you've created, and you're going to now just twist and then center. And can you just imagine inside your ball, this is a really nice mindful exercise. Give yourself some words that you would like to bring into either your life or into your body. So it might be, you know, I want strength or flexibility or peace or calm, whatever you might wish for yourself. Just give yourself a nice moment to visualize those words inside this ball that you're carrying. As you rotate, keep really strong through the legs, bend the knees a little bit more if you can, and just keep that gentle rotation going through. And once your ball is, you can fill it up with as many words as you like, give them colors, and then bring the ball back into the center. Take the ball up over your head, bend the knees even more, and now let those words filter through your fingertips, into your arms, into your shoulders, into your skull, into your chest. And as you come up, can you feel them filter down into your body, into your hips, into your thighs, into your shins, into your ankles and your toes. Do it again. Take the ball with all those words and bringing to mind those, you know, maybe 2 or 3 that really feel good for you, and bring them around into the body each time. Bend the knees, stretch the arms over your head, and let them filter through your whole body. Good. This is magic. Stretching the arms over and circling. Feeling those words and the vibrations of those words going right through your whole body. And circle. We've got about 5 more of these to go. We can speed it up a little bit. And stretch. And 4. And then really feel the effect of those words on your body. Does it feel good? Should do. Last 2. And stretch. And 1. And stretch. Great. Bring those legs in. So let's just go for a little bit more alignment, more Pilates base. Step a leg forwards. Come up onto that leg. Find the ground. 1 leg in the air. Can you get your hands on your supporting leg and just roll the thigh bone open? Because there's always a tendency, right, for the knee to knock inwards. So rolling the thigh bone open is really going to help that knee stay aligned over your second toe. And just start to bend and stretch a few times. Finding a balance. Really feel your ground through your foot, the roots. And then find that tendril-like spine elongating upwards. And when you feel comfortable here, extending yourself out into that airplane shape. Reach through the arms, reach through your back leg, and just start to bend and stretch here. Nice deep knee bends. And can you, in your mind's eye, just rotate your thigh bone out? Imagine those hands kind of wrapping around the thigh bone. Keep your eyes focused. It will really help with the balance. Because I'm not, I'm coming off balance. Last 2. And stretch. And 1. And stretch. Good. Step that foot forwards. And up we go onto the other side. Okay. New leg. Just start again. Hands on the hips. Just keep the hips relatively level. Get the thigh, the hands on the thigh. Wrap that thigh around. And continue to do that with your mind. Continue wrapping your thigh bone open. Finding your ground underneath your foot. If balance is an issue, you know, of course, if you've got a wall, you can hold onto a wall, or you can put your toe down and just sort of semi-test it. Good. And when you feel like you can, extend out, lean your body forward. So obviously the further forwards you lean with your hips, the deeper you'll be able to go in your knee bend. If the balance is an issue, then keep it much, much smaller. So think just off the ground. And then you can challenge yourself later on to take more of a lean into it. So keep finding the ground under your foot, playing with that relationship between your foot and the ground. See if you can, if you start to get a bit intense or a bit serious about it, you're worried about falling over, see if you can lighten it a little bit. Think it doesn't matter. There's not much. There's not far to fall from here. So, and down and up. Last two. And stretch. And one. And stretch. Okay, good. Bring it in. Give the legs a little shake. Great. Let's go to the backs of the mats. I'm going to lower the angle of the screen a little bit, just so that, because what I'm going to do, actually, I'll explain what I'm going to do first. So we're going to do a few roll downs. We're going to roll down and walk the hands forwards into a downward dog, but we're also then going to be coming back up. And we're going to do that a few times. So I'm going to lower the angle of the screen so you won't be able to see my face, but at least you'll be able to see my body. Okay. So start just standing, feet underneath the hip bones. Chin to chest, roll through the spine. On the first one, when you get down there, you might just want to let the arms do some little circles around. And you might just want to let them do some shakes. Really try and let your head hang. I say that as much for myself because I'm not very good at really letting this neck go. And then just maybe sway gently to one side. And sway gently to the other side. And just do that a couple of times. Good. And then you're going to walk your hands forwards along your mat into a downward dog. Spread out the fingers, spread out the toes, and just take some rises up and down through the ankles. So heels lifting on the inhale. Exhale, sinking them down. All the time feeling that reach through the fingers into the ground and that reach through your sitting bones or your tailbone up toward the ceiling. Okay, last one. And then you're going to gently walk through your hands back to your feet. So you're relaxing over those legs again. You're going to roll slowly up. So ideally feet underneath hip bones. As you get up, can you just rise onto your toes? And then lower your heels slowly back down. Just testing that balance playfully. Again, roll yourself slowly down through your spines. Walk your hands forwards. This time, can you go to a plank position? So long plank. Imagine a magnet between your thighs. So you're squeezing your thighs together, pressing through your fingers, back of neck nice and long. So you're reaching out through the crown of your head rather than up through the chin. Deep breaths here, maybe a couple more. Well done. And then walk your hands back towards your feet, bend the knees, and roll up through the spine. So I want to get you to this feeling of being quite fluid. Let's rise and lower 2 times this time. And rise and just testing that balance, the weight going through your body and down. Roll back down, chin to chest, slowly, slowly through your spine. Walk your hands forwards. Again, let's go to the plank this time. Good. Now, can you pull a knee in, hold it, and then stretch into the downward dog. And in with the second knee, hold, and downward dog. Each time you go into your downward dog, can you just roll your shoulders down and wide away from your ears? Knee in and stretch. We've got 2 more of these to go. Knee in, hold, stretch. Last one, knee in, hold, And stretch. Walk the hands back. This is our last roll up. So plant the hands, plant the feet, rolling slowly up through your spine. This time you're going to rise up and down 3 times through your feet. Just testing the balance. Just checking in with the breath. If you tend to find the ankles kind of do sort of rolling outwards, imagine that magnetic force between your thighs, pulling your legs together. Last one. Great. Slowly down again. This time go back to your downward dog position. So walk the hands forwards, downward dog. Just walk on the spot slowly. And as you do this, you might want to take some nice deep sighs. Let all that tension out. And then you're going to rise and come onto all fours. Good. And then from there, you're going to start circling. I'm going to move the camera around, but just get that pelvis circling a few times. Great. And once you've done the other way around a few times as well, then just move it up into the more rib area. So big circular sea creature rib circles, doesn't really matter what it looks like, just a feeling of getting the center of your spine, all those breathing muscles, all the organs around there, all the fascia, connective tissue between your ribs, chest. That's lovely. Okay, come back into the center, just bend one elbow and just gently rotate around to one side. So you're looking up over the arm that's straight, that shoulder, and stretch. And bend the opposite elbow, looking up and around in the opposite direction, and stretch. And rotate gently. And stretch. And rotate. So never forcing this. And stretch, one more to each side. It might feel quite small. It's you don't have much rotation in the upper back, much more rotation lower down in the spine. Rounding through your spine, cactus, deep breath, and reversing it. Always going for a sense of spaciousness between your vertebrae. So you're creating more space for your discs, not crunching them together. So if you're sinking in the cat, you want to create lift and length as you go into your extension. And 2 more, rounding through the spine gently. Breathing in through the nose. Lifting. 1 more time. And rounding. Watch those of you who tend to lock the elbows. Try and press through the fingertips so you're lifting out of the elbow joints, not locking into them. Extend your spine into a long neutral spine. So let's go for 1 arm and 1 leg, stretching out along your mat, reaching away and gliding back in again. Same to the other side, reaching away. So as you do this, just gently, gently lifting up through the abdominals around your belly button and coming back in. Try and keep the hip bones level. So not rolling the hip up toward the ceiling. You have both hip bones pointing down at the ground. And in. And you could even check with a hand, just double check the belly is gently lifting. And in. Let's go for adding. So we're going to extend, tap the knee, 1, and reach. And 2, let's go for 6. And 3. And 4, good. And 5. And 6, extend it away and glide it slowly back in. Switch sides, pressing through your supporting fingers, going to help those shoulder muscles kick in. Hover, little tap, here you go, reach away. And tap, 1. And 2. Good. Backs of necks nice and long, so looking right down at the floor. 4. 5. Don't forget to breathe. 6. And bend your knee back in. Good. Just open up the knees a little bit wider than your hips. Take some nice big juicy hip circles around. Hip sockets filled with honey or treacle, molasses, anything kind of rich and gloopy. And the other way. Try to make this as smooth as possible. It may not feel smooth. If you've got any little bits of tension or niggles or things, just move through them very slowly, very gently. Keep breathing. Okay, very last one. And then just bring yourself back into the center. Pop the knees more directly underneath your hip bones. Let's do a little bit for the upper body now. So walk the hands slightly further forwards than the shoulders. Let's go reaching back, elbows bend, you know what's coming. Squeeze the elbows in and then travel forwards past the fingertips. Really keep wrapping those elbows into your sides and pressing up. And back you go. So you're using your body weight to load your upper arms and shoulders. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And press. Good. Keep going. Those of you who have issues with the wrists, you can always roll up the mat, yeah, and put the heels of the hands on the squidgy bit of the mat and the fingers on the floor, and think of really pouring the weight into the fingers and not into the heels of the hands. Yeah, that's a really good one for keeping a little bit of pressure off the wrists and more through the fingers. Good. Okay, last one or two. And stretch. Sit your pelvis to your heels for a moment there. You can either just rest your head in your hands, or you could bring the hands around to that kidney area where the 2 dips are below the floating ribs, and just take some deep breaths, more encouraging that breath down into the lower portion of your body. You'll feel how much movement there is there in those lower ribs, and you're really wanting to encourage that. Again, connecting into the more calming part of the nervous system. Not the fight or flight, not the busy. Good, and just take a couple more breaths here. You might want to have your forehead down on the floor. Good. So, one last thing here on all fours. You have 2 options, right? In fact, I'm going to move mat back a little bit because we're going to side plank and I need a little bit more space. So we're going to go into a plank. You're either going there or on the elbows if the wrists don't like it. Either way is fine, and either way we're going to be twisting onto our side. So you can either stay on the elbow or on the hand, yes? I'm going to do it on my elbows today, but if you're on your wrists, easy, right? You're going to be doing that. So just choose what you want to do. I'm going to go elbows. We're going to extend away and we're going to hold for 5 breaths. Now, can you, the breath that we were doing at the beginning of the class with the opening wide into the base of the ribs, that is the breath I want you to be using. Deep in the ribs, through your nose. That's about 5. Rotate to one side in a plank, lift the hips, breathing for 5. You might want to add a little bit of movement, tapping and lifting. 2. You're just doing 5, 3, 4, and 5. We go back to the plank. Whoop. 5, holding. Deep breaths into the back of the ribs, really zipping up. Imagine your hip bones drawing towards your shoulders. Back of neck long. Last breath. Rotate to the other side. And we might want to add tapping and lifting. Keep those hips lifted. 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Last plank. We come into the center. Last one. Guys, if you need to come down and then, yeah, it's too much, you come down. Otherwise, challenge yourselves. Gently zipping up from the pubic bone towards the belly button. Last couple of breaths. Well done. Okay, release the knees. Take a little stretch backwards one more time into a child pose. Take a moment just to let yourself really rest. So as you do this, can you really allow your body to drop more into the ground? Give your body permission to really let go into the ground underneath you. I've got my head turned just because I'm talking to you, but you probably want your head down toward the floor on the wrists. If you have knee issues, you can always put something between your bottom and your heels, like a cushion. Last 2 breaths here, really allowing yourself, really giving yourself permission to let your body really sink down into the ground and be supported by the ground. Amazing the difference it can make when you allow your body to do that. Not always easy to know how to relax. Okay. Let's spin around. So you're going to come to the fronts of your mats and hug the backs of the thighs. Just slowly start to roll backwards through your hips, through your pelvis. So you don't want to be really scrunched, yes? So it's a little gentle scooping of the abdominals. You're going to take one arm away, second arm away, just hold. You're going to extend the arms up and down, and up and down. Now, as you do this, you could even venture a little bit further back. And notice that will put more load on the abdominals. The further back you go. The arms are like little weights. They're just weighting you. Last 2. And 1. Good. And then you're going to roll yourself slowly down to your mat. Hug the knees in towards your chest. And just open and circle those thighs around a few times. Good. And then place one foot on the floor and keep the other knee in and just circle that knee around a few times and just notice. Can you really bring your mind's eye into the back of the pelvis and notice the bones in your pelvis just rolling against the mat? And the other way around too. Good. Place it down. Take the other knee. Guys, if the knees don't like the pressure, then you can always hug behind the thigh. That's absolutely equally good. Just circling that thigh bone around inside your hip joint. Notice that as you do that, your shoulder blades are also getting a little floor massage. They're also having a little move around. And the other way. Good. Place your feet down onto the mat, feet and knees glued together. Take the arms out nice and wide into a T shape. Roll both legs. So keep the knees glued. Keep the ankle bones glued. As you roll it, you're going to let your head roll in the opposite direction. And then bring your legs back. Just check in your breathing. You might want to inhale as the legs go over. And exhale as they come back. And do that one more time to each side. Inhale. exhale. Can you really be present in the entire movement? It's actually not easy to do, to really be present through the entire movement. Good. Bring the knees into the air. Have them quite close in towards your body. If anyone has lower back issues, you can actually always just keep your feet on the floor and do the same thing. Just roll the knees gently, gently over to one side, breathing in and rolling them slowly back. You might not want to go all the way to the ground, but it's just a little roll and you'll feel it further. Rotation is further up in your back. For me, it's more like the middle of my spine. And just do one more to each side. Feels like on the spine, and just keep your feet down. Always listening into the body. And center. Place your feet down on the mat, but take your feet wider than your mat. So just either side of the outside of your mat. Roll both knees over to one side. You'll notice your top knee, your top thigh kind of drops toward the ground, and you want to encourage that. So that's that nice elongation and inward rotation. If you want to, you can take the wrist on that same side and just stretch it up over your head. So you're getting a very long stretch through the side. Deep breath in, let it go. You could, of course, also add an ankle if you wanted to add a little bit more weight through that thigh bone. Yeah, see how that feels. And then roll back through the center. So you could always just do the legs. Of course, you could just do that bit. You don't have to grab the wrist, but if you are going to, it's the wrist that's on the same side as the thigh bone that is dropping downward. Breathing in. There we go. Could also add the ankle. And then release, slowly roll yourself back into the center. Good. Okay. Let's do a little bit of core stuff. If you do have a ball or even a roller, even a half roller, you could stick it underneath your pelvis. Yeah, I'm going to do the ball today, but those of you who have a roller, you would just put it horizontally in exactly the same position. You don't want your lower back to be overarched. You want your pelvis to be nice and level. So pubic bone, hip bones on a flat plane with the floor. If you're just doing it flat, that's absolutely fine. So you're going to pick up one knee in the air, second knee in the air. The ball will just make you wobble a little bit more, which puts a little bit more strain on your stabilizing muscles, makes them work a little harder. Tapping 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So if it's too wobbly, you can put hands on the floor. 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. You could also hold the ball, knees open, diamond shape for 10. Tapping 9 and 8. You got it. Good. 7 and 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Bend the knees in, extend one leg away from you. Long legs as one knee pulls in, one leg stretches away. And 3. You can point the toes if you wish. And 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, 10 bicycles and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Gently zipping up through the pelvic floor, so genitals lifting up internally toward the belly button. Reverse the bicycle for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Bring the knees in. We're going to double-legged bicycle. So you're going to keep the knees and the ankles glued together. Unfold the legs toward the ceiling. Extend them forwards. Now only go as far forwards as you can really control that lower back, and then bend the knees. Brush them all the way up again. Double-legged bicycle. Squeeze your legs together. Zip, zip, zip up internally from the genitals up underneath the belly button. And reaching forwards. It's like your sort of legs are stuck in a single trouser leg. That's how together they are. Last 2 of these. And 1. So the legs only go as far forwards as you can really control that lower back. Good. hug one knee in towards your chest, extend the other leg out along the mat. If you're on the ball, it will give you a bit more of a hip flexor, or the roller actually will give you a bit more of a hip flexor stretch. Flex through that supporting leg, pressing into it. You could even do a little side stretch, so a groin stretch with the knee that's folded in. You just take it slowly around to the side. Put your other hand on your supporting hip and really anchor it down. Nice, bring it back. Switch the legs over, hug the opposite knee in, extend the other leg away. So you can see the ball just gives you a little extra height, so it enables you to get a bit more hip flexor stretch. If you haven't got a ball, I would highly recommend it. They're super cheap and really useful. Amazon. Okay, flex through your foot, reaching through the heel bone. And then send your thigh bone around toward the side. Plant the other hand on the opposite hip and really anchor it down. And then just opening out that knee toward the side. Bring it slowly back, release it onto the mat. Plant those feet down, lift your hips in the air, take the ball away. If you've got the ball, you're just going to stick it between your knees. Otherwise, you could have a cushion, like a big plump cushion, not a skinny one. And feet are hip distance apart. If you don't have a ball, you want to visualize you've got a magnetic force between the thighs, just so that the legs are not kind of falling out or inner thighs are engaging. Let's go into a bridge. So scooping up, pelvic floor, deeper layers of the abs, rolling through the spine up toward your shoulder blades. So try not to push up through the chest and the ribs. You don't want to be there because then you're putting pressure on the lower back. So you want to be dropped down a little more through the upper back. So you can put a hand on the chest and just soften that chest right down. And hand on the pubic bone, and just sort of fingers on the pubic bone and directing your pubic bone up. So you're getting a really good gluteal connection and lower abdominals. Stretch both arms over your head. Take a deep breath. And then melt yourself down. Relax the face, relax your throat, rolling through that spine, melting like an ice cream. Back to neutral, glide the arms forwards. Just take a moment to reset, really relax in between. And then reconnect. Pelvic floor, deep abdominals, glutes. Yeah. Squeeze that little ball if you've got one there. Breathing in, stretching your arms over. Breathing out, melting down. Take that whole out breath to get back down. So also working on slowing that out breath as well. Last plain one, then we're going to add, exhale, rolling up. So if you haven't already, just be aware of the feet. They're pressing into the ground. That's going to give you the lift. Inhale for the arms. Exhale, melting down. Inhale, arms gliding forwards. Rolling up one more time. This time, you're going to lower and lift your pelvis. You might want to get the hands on just to check the hips are staying level. Pubic bone is lifted. We go drop. Bottom switches off, right? As your hips lower toward the ground. And then they switch on again as they lift. There's a relax, and then there's a lift. But not total relax, right? Lifting 3. And each time you lift, squeeze that ball. 4, 5, 6, 7, well done, 8, 9, 10. Now keep the pelvis in the air and just walk through the feet. 1. So one heel lifting and down, second heel lifting and down. Keep the hips lifting. 4. So the pelvis is not really moving, it's just literally moving at your ankles. 6, 7, glutes have got to work to keep you there. 8, 9, 10, deep breath. Roll back down through your spine. Very well done. Take the ball away. Got the ball, give the knees a hug. Okay, we go back into the bridge this time. 2 options.
So you're in your position. Either you're going to lift one heel in the air, we lower and lift the pelvis for 10, or leg in the air over the hip bone, down and up for 10. So find the position. I'm going for leg in the air. Heel is just less loaded for your lower back. We go. And 1, 2. You might want to have the hands on the hips just to double check those hips are staying level. 4, 5. Use your supporting foot. Feel that foot pressing into the ground. 8, 9, 10. Extend the leg if you can. Extend the arms if you can. Take a deep breath. Release your foot down. Changing sides, so either the heel in the air or the leg in the air. And we go. 1. Up, squeezing. 2, 3, 4. Hips level. 5. Try and keep that chest soft. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good, well done. Stretch that leg up, stretch the arms. Deep breath. Release your foot down, stretch your arms over your heads. Melting like an ice cream. So don't worry if the arms aren't on the floor, they might be up in the air a little bit. Good, well done. Give the hips a little jiggle. Let's have the knees, let's have one knee in the air, in fact, just to start with. Take your hands behind your head and just curl toward that one leg. Extend your leg forwards. Take a little look up at the ceiling and now look at your knee as the knee comes in. 1. Really see if you can curl in toward the knee. 2. Obviously with back issues or things like osteoporosis, you don't want to be really crunching it. You want to be way more gentle with the curl. So much more just the head just off the ground and really supporting with the arms. 4. Really supporting the weight of your head with your arms. 6, 7, just one more. 8, now with a twist. So extend the leg away, rotate gently. 1, and 2, and 3, 4, just to 8, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Release your foot down, take a little moment, take a nice deep breath, well done. Other leg in the air, okay, extend away. As you exhale, curl forwards, bring the elbows in so you can see your elbows all the time. And curl. 1, and 2, and 3. Try and blow the air out. 4, 6, 7, last one, and 8 with a rotation. Elbow toward the knee. 1, and 2. Really picture the diagonal line from your shoulder to your hip bone. 4, halfway. 5, 6, 7, last one. 8, release it down for a moment. Take a nice deep breath. Very good, very good. Last little push. Okay, so we come forwards, tuck the head in, grab a knee, extend the other leg away and reach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hands behind the head, twisting. 1, and 2, 3, 4. Keep the legs high if you need to. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And hug them in. Give them a good squeeze. Just let your head gently roll side to side. Nice and easy. And we're going to do a few hip rolls now. So if you need to keep your feet on the ground, do so. Otherwise, you take them in the air. T-shape. Slowly roll the knees over. Roll your head in the opposite direction. Slowly, slowly with control. And slowly back. It's falling with grace. Nice and slow. Breathing in, breathing out. Center. So you could add, but obviously stick with the original one, if that's better for you. If you're going to add, squeeze the knees together, extend the top leg. The head is generally just rolling in opposition. Over, keep the knees together, extend through that top leg, bend the knee back. Center. Let's go for one more to each side like that. Go for a nice, I know we haven't stretched the hamstrings today, so go for a nice reach through the hamstring. And then if you want to, 2 legs for the last set. Over, slowly unfold both legs, really draw in those abdominals. This is way, way more loaded for the lower back, so if you know to be careful, please don't do this one. Good, and center. Last one to each side. So you may just be doing the first one, or the feet on the floor. Good, extend. And center. Hug those knees inward. Good. Okay, we are going to roll onto our, what's up to my hair? We're going to roll onto our fronts and do a little bit of spinal extension. So spin yourself slowly around. And so when you're on your belly, can you just for a little experiment, let your belly just relax into the ground completely. Feels quite nice, doesn't it? So just take a couple of breaths there. And then for the next exercise, I want you to gently lift your belly off the ground. So you won't be able to see anything physically happening, but you'll be able to feel a little bit of a lift through the pelvic floor and those lower abdominals away from the mat. And now relax them. And now engage them. It's a little bit of lift, right? Bring the hands either side of your shoulders, nose to the ground. Start with just a small lift through the upper back. The eyes looking along the floor, rolling those shoulders open, gently lifting up through the upper back. Watch that you're not really crunching the back of the neck. So you're not looking up with your chin. You're really looking along the floor. You're very, very long. Imagine like dart-like. And release. So we do this a couple of times. I'm going to angle my mat slightly differently, but just keep going, guys. So you can see, yeah. Okay. So as you start to come up, you might want to come up higher, but always going through the upper back first. So back of the neck long, chest lifting. And as you start to come up higher, can you really zip up through the front of the body? Wrapping the elbows in and lifting slowly, slowly. So you go to wherever you can in your spine. Try and think long through your spine and then releasing slowly with control back down. Doesn't matter what it looks like right now. Just peeling yourself up without forcing. Definitely no forcing. And really, so you want to really support from your abdominals. So really zipping up through those lower abdominals. Relax the shoulders, relax your face, and slowly back down. We'll do this a couple more times. So as you come up, try to not use the hands immediately. You don't need them immediately. Using your spinal muscles, and then as you come up higher, you want to roll the elbows inwards. Drop the shoulders, lifting up and out. Notice my lower back's really long, so I'm not crunching in it or dropping into it, sinking into it. Really engaged and lifted. Slowly back down. Good. When you have done your last one, you're going to reach around, grab your ankle, and just draw that heel towards your bottom. Think of really scooping your pubic bone down toward the mat so that you're getting a stretch through your quads. You can let your head just rest in the other hand. Just take a couple of breaths here. Nice deep breaths. And slowly let it go. The other leg, grab around. Pull that heel towards your bottom, really scoop. So can you see, especially if you're doing a video, See the difference between really elongating the lower back or sinking into it. So try to really elongate the lower back. You'll feel your pubic bone is pressing more into the ground, and you'll get more of a stretch through your quads, the front of the thigh. So you might want to have that hand on the lower back, really encouraging it down. Excellent. Let it go, let it go. And then bring yourselves back toward all fours. Just take a gentle stretch into a child pose. Just reverse what we just did, the spinal extension. Take a couple of breaths here. And then when you're ready, you're going to take a pigeon stretch. I will give you an alternative if pigeon is not for you. Let's go into a downward dog. Extend through the backs of the legs. Just take a few walks. And then extending through one leg behind you. Press through the reach and root through your fingertips. And then bring that same leg forwards. As you go forwards, the knee is going to go towards the wrist. So it's left knee is going to the left wrist. That's it. And then you're trying to shuffle that opposite foot forwards towards your opposite wrist. Slowly slide yourself down. So depending on your side, you might want to pad out. You can always use a cushion underneath the hip if you need a bit more room, especially if you have anything going on with your knee. That can be really good. And then you're putting a little less pressure on it. So just find a position that's comfortable and doable for you. Take a moment just to let yourself really rest down. Bring your attention to your breath. And can you direct your breath into any tension that you're feeling? So keep going with this. I'm going to show an alternative for those of you that this is too extreme a position. You just go on your back, you cross one foot over the opposite thigh, you reach around, you grab a hold of the back of the thigh, and you slowly pull it in toward you. You're trying to keep this thigh bone nice and open. You're trying to really sink the pelvis. You can always put that foot against the wall if you want a bit of more support. And then you just hold and breathe, gently pulling that thigh toward you. So that can, and it's a very similar stretch, all of this area. Okay, slowly, wherever you are, start to change position. So if you're in your pigeon, come back to a downward dog. Go with the other leg, extend it up. If you're on your back, so you just switch sides. Slowly bring the knee toward the same wrist. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle that foot forwards. You're aiming for a right angle, right? Okay, and then just lower yourself slowly down. It will feel different on this side. It's a different leg. We often, our muscles are not completely balanced on each side. So just either up here, or if you want to go all the way over and really like put more weight through the stretch, then go all the way down. And then just take that moment to see if you can let your face soften. So see if you can let your eye sockets soften. See if you could let that third eye area between the eyebrows soften and melt. The jaw, so you can let that jaw relax a little. The mouth, the tongue, inside of the throat. Can you bring a bit more spaciousness to the inside of your throat? And just notice, by relaxing these little areas of tension in our faces, does the rest of the body relax more? And sometimes this can feel like more stretch. It can feel even more intense because it's like peeling off a layer of onion. Just noticing more tension that's already there.
Good. Okay, last breath, and then slowly, slowly bring yourself back. Let's go to all fours. And when you're there, just do anything that feels good. Do some pelvis circles, any of the jellyfish, sea creature-like moves, whatever feels nice, some cats. And then when you're ready, then you can just any breathing, any sighs you want to do, just do it now. This is the time. Tuck the toes underneath, stretch yourself back into a downward dog. Same thing here. Letting any nice noises that want to come out, come out. And then slowly walk your feet toward your hands. Just dangle yourself over those legs for a moment. So we haven't stretched the hamstrings. Now is a good little point to do it. Pop your hands onto your calf muscles behind. Bend the knees slightly. And then as you stretch the backs of your legs, can you really press your calf muscles forwards? And that will bring your body weight forwards, and it will encourage that lengthening action up the backs of the legs. If it's too intense for you, just roll yourself just slowly up to stand. We're going to be there in a moment. Pressing through the legs, bending gently and stretching, folding yourself in. Last one, bending and folding yourself in as you stretch through the backs of those legs. And then just let your upper body hang down, let your head really drop. Take a deep breath and start to pour your weight down into the soles of your feet as you start to unroll your spine nice and slowly upward. Letting your head hang and letting your head come up last. I'm just going to move the camera. Good. And as you just stand there, can you bring your focus back to a similar, what we were just talking about at the very beginning of the class, that breath. So just take 2-3 breaths. You might want to go with the hands, either on the ribs or just in the air in front of you. And breathe in and out through your nose a couple of times, noticing your feet against the ground, noticing your spine like a plant tendril lifting upward. So it's not with tension on the outside of the body. See if you can relax your skin, relax your face. See if you can find that strength and that length from somewhere much deeper inside your body. Good, which often means then you can relax the outside a little more. Okay, very nice. Last breath. And let it go. Good. Very well done. Thank you for joining me this week, and come and join me next week.